Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Ready, Willing, and Fable Project Outreach Colorado DI um, Team Manager Training this evening. My name is Dan Wilson. It probably shows as Kate on your screen, but unfortunately she was not able to join us and moderate tonight's webcast. So duties fell to me on this part. So bear with me. I'm a rookie. It's my first time to do this particular thing. With me tonight is Jennifer.
Hey everybody, it's Jennifer Zacanda Gutierrez. I'm one of the new people in the ACM role here. And yeah, I'm also a newbie. This is kind of weird, I'm not going to lie. So please bear with me as I look at the slides and talk to myself in this room. So we're glad you're here to join us, and we're excited to kind of hear the questions that you might have about the challenge. And
So
also, actually, I
go
was like,
ahead.
oh yeah, and also you missed out. Megan isn't joining us tonight. She's our other ACM, and she hasn't been feeling well, so she thought she should stay home and keep herself well and maybe not lose her voice tonight. So that's why she's not here with us.
So as we go through the slides, feel free to chat in. I'll read any questions that come up, and we'll do our best to answer them. But we're here to help you to be successful with your teams. And feel free to email or call us at any point with questions, comments, whatever might come up. And we will definitely get back to you as quickly as we can. This screen is the contact information for myself, Jennifer, and Megan at the top, and we're your affiliate challenge masters. That means we assist everyone that we can, and we run the state tournament. And on the bottom are the regional challenge masters for the various areas. I'll have this slide at the very end, so if you're madly scrambling to get a screenshot or write down the information, this slide will be at the end as well. So Jennifer, you want to start on this slide?
I sure will. So when we got together to talk about training and what you all might need or want, and really not knowing who you are at this point, it also seems kind of weird, but we wanted to think about kind of the bigger picture as, what is it that you're going to be doing? Some of you are experienced team managers and maybe have never done project outreach, and some of you are newbies to the whole thing. So, and maybe some of you are actually know more about project outreach than I do. So if you do, and I make any mistakes, feel free to chime in to Dan, and we'll clarify those. But basically, what do we do? Your team chose this project, and now you're thinking, what in the world are we supposed to be doing? Your kids are going to be working hours on hours. They're working on their solution, learning how to work together and communicate, and they're going to present their solution at a tournament. They have to be creative. It sounds just like one of the other challenges. But it's slightly different because the big deal here with project outreach is that it's not just about the building of the prop or writing the story. The big deal of project outreach is the fact that the kids choose a project in their community, and they want to address that, and they want to make the world a better place. And I'm not sure how to make this thing go forward, but right? So, okay, here we go, right?
Say click and I'll do it.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll be like, next. um, so the stuff that happens is, now I've lost my train of thought. I apologize to all of you there, right? It's really like I said, the difference is that we're trying to get our kids now, instead of moving into this developing creativity for their own sake, we're pushing them to make an impact in their world. And so we give them this project so that they can choose a way to make that happen and go ahead and go forward, Dan. Right? So kind of the first thing that these teams are going to need to do is find a need. We stress that this need can be as big or as small as the teams choose it to be. It can be as big or small of a community that they're affecting. We've seen kids, who want to affect a very local area. We've seen kids who are concerned about their single classroom. We've seen kids helping one kid, one other person, to kids, helping people in other countries. So the idea is we want to help them decide on a project. So some of the things that we thought about to help guide our teams in choosing these projects is, to have them really brainstorm what are the problems you see in your world. Um, what are the things that you think needs to be fixed, and is there a way that you can fix that, or is there something that makes you feel mad or sad about your world around you? um, so the idea is just to kind of get kids thinking about what's going on around them, and what they can do to fix it. um, the type and the intent of the project is not judged at all. It's what they present about how they solved their challenge, how they completed the project, that is judged. And go ahead. Right? So once they decide on this project that they want to address, this need that they see, they need to think about how they want to address that need. So one of the things is that the team members may include a community partner. So this can just be somebody that's outside of the team who might partner with them on this project. This can be somebody in a local organization, somebody within their school that would be helping them with this. We've seen the people at the animal shelters, those types of things. Those are community partners. So students can choose to include this community partner, or they can do it all on their own. So once they decide on that, they need to think about, well, what are the things that they can do, and what's it going to look like. And so, I mean, of course, this takes a lot of work, and the kids are going to be really kind of thinking through this, and it's our job to just kind of help them along in setting these goals for themselves. And as they're working, we want to help them be thinking about, how do we make sure that we're finishing the project. So, our roadmap, those of you who are not new team managers, you're probably really used to the roadmap, and you've seen it a lot, and you've used it. There's project management guidelines in there for your teams to follow. There's also team manager guidelines and timelines that help you as a team manager kind of structure your practices and all of that, so that you can help your teams in the best way possible. Go ahead, Dan.
And
Oh,
just
what?
thinking about the community partner, some of the questions that came up at the last training we did is it okay for the team manager to be part of the conversation with the team and that community partner? And it definitely is. We want to encourage you to be involved at that level, because it's a safety matter. And anywhere that the kids might have a safety concern, or you might be concerned about their safety with somebody new, we want you to be sure and vet the potential community partner and let them know, this is a destination imagination team. They're on the up and up. They're legitimate, and you can kind of get a feel for if this partner is somebody that you can trust. And still stay in the conversation, be there with the kids as they have the conversation, so you can hear what's being discussed and make sure that everything's appropriate. And also you can help guide that partner in not crossing that line of interference. We
Mm-hmm.
we want the team to utilize their community partner, but we can't let the community partner tell the team what to do. The team has to decide, is this something that we're going to do with this partner, and are we going to, they have to tell the partner how they want the process done. But um, if they decide to clean up a park and the park has rules that they have to wear orange vests while doing work in a park, then they choose whether or not they follow that rule. They can't say, well, we don't want to wear the vests, but we're still going to clean the park. That's kind of breaking the park rules or breaking the law, depending on what area it is. They have to follow the laws and rules of the partner when it comes to legalities and regulations, but they're choosing whether or not they're going to work with that and follow those specific guidelines that the partner might give. But cleaning the park, or how they advertise cleaning the park, or how they make it a community event, that's up to the team. And so I just want to stress that.
Mm-hmm.
Keep safety first.
Yeah. And then kind of the last in the big ideas of kind of this overall theme of what are we doing, once the teams decide on this idea of what they want to do and how they're going to do it, they need to make sure that they complete it. and they want to do what they set out to do, and they need to be thinking about how they're going to share the impact of the project. And this is something that no, I can't remember. Dan, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's new this year that they have to have the completed project done before tournament.
They
Um,
do,
in the
and
in the
we have.
past, we have allowed them to just have the planning stages, and maybe a snowstorm comes in, and their big event was canceled because of snowstorm or whatever. But in this instance, they do have to have the project completed and ready to like debrief before tournament, which does kind of put a little bit more stress on them. But I think it does help them to make sure they're doing what they set out to do.
Yes,
Yeah.
in the last 2 years, that's become a requirement that the team does have to complete a project before they come to the tournament. Otherwise, they can't compete.
Yes. All right. Go ahead, Dan. I'll let you jump in here now.
So this year we have an impact prop. The object of the team, so the team is going to create an impact prop that represents the change they've made in the community. They went out and they cleaned up the park. Now they're going to think about that project and what can they create that will represent the change. And so is it, a prettier, a before and after of the park, before the trash and after the trash is gone, or what kind of activity or sorry, what kind of prop can they build to represent that change that they made? And this is to get them thinking a little deeper. In the past, we've asked teams to kind of do a self-evaluation. How did the project go, and how can you reflect that in your presentation a little bit? This year, it's an explicit piece. You have to build something that represents that change you've created. And so this is a scored item. The impact prop, they can use it twice. They'll be using it once in a project briefing, which is our next slide, and they'll either use the same prop or a replica of that prop at the competition. And if they're using the exact same prop, they need to be building it for both situations. Whatever comes to tournament needs to be built by the team. So if for
Mm-hmm.
some reason, whatever impact prop they use for the project briefing, they get some outside help in building that, that's okay. They can use it for the project briefing, but they cannot bring it to tournament. They would then have to make a replica of that prop to bring to the tournament. It must be physical and portable, and it needs to be incorporated into the Fable when they get to writing their Fable. Is there anything else I'm missing there, Jennifer?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so before the tournament, the team has done their project, they've created a impact prop, and now they're going to do a project briefing. This again is getting the team to think a little bit in advance, kind of forcing the issue of how did we change our community. And so they're going to find 3 people that are not on their team and they're not family members, and they're going to present a briefing to them using the impact prop. And it can be in person, or they can get on the web and do it virtual, however they choose to do it, but they need to explain what it was that they did and how they felt it impacted their community. If a couple of years ago we had a team that did multiple projects. They tried one and felt like it didn't go as good as they wanted to. They tried another one and they had success, and they did another one and had some failures, but they did multiple iterations on their ideas, and they ended up reporting on all of those at the tournament. And this last bullet on the slide is your teams may do more than one project in the briefing if they have the time and energy to do that. Encourage it. It's great if they're able to do that. So, as we mentioned, they do have to do their project before the tournaments, and these are the dates for each of the various tournaments this year. Your team should be aware of the dates and plan accordingly. All right, so what is a fable? For this challenge, a fable is a story that it has a moral. A moral is a life lesson, and a fable features characters that are not humans, although they may act like humans. So Pretty standard Fable. Most kids learn about these in third grade, fourth grade, I think, and they get the challenge of creating one that is based on their work in the community. Within that project, they need to have a character that represents the change. So to represent change from the project, the team must include a non-human character that changes within the presentation. The character should be identified on the data form. So if you've got the packet, I believe it is page 12, 13, and 14 are the tournament data forms. These forms come to the tournament with your team, and on there you need to specify which character the appraisers should be watching for change that is occurring so that we know that we're scoring the correct one. The change character must be seen before and after the change occurs. So at our last training, somebody said, so if it's a caterpillar that becomes a butterfly, does it have to change on stage? It doesn't. It could be the character is a butterfly at the beginning, they go behind a curtain and they come out a butterfly. That's totally fine. The creativity might get fewer points if the next team comes in and does the same character set and they actually change it on stage. But that's up to your team if they're able to take on the challenge, want to take on the challenge. It could be that their two costumes are amazing and carries the weight that they want to give it. And then the last point is it needs to be easily visible from 25 feet away. There can be more than one character that is non-human, and there can be more than one character that changes, but you do have to have at least one and note it. So as I mentioned before, the impact prop does need to come to the presentation. It doesn't have to be the same one that was used in the briefing, but it does need to be a replica that the team has built at a minimum. If they bring the same one that they used in the briefing, they have to build the one that they used in the briefing. They must use the impact prop in the Fable and help tell the story using it. It should be integrated. So usually the question comes up, what does integration mean? One thought is to have your team try telling their story with the prop and then have them try telling the story without the prop, and can they feel a difference? If they can, or the story kind of breaks down because they didn't have the prop, then it's integrated. If there's no difference whether the prop is sitting on the table or not, then it probably isn't deeply integrated. I think I forgot on the last slide, down in the bottom right corner, I have a points guide note. And so these areas on these bullets go to the score sheet. And on the points guide, these are speaking to points for item number 3, A, B, and C. If you have the challenge with you, you can see where these connect. Anything else on this, Jennifer?
I don't think so. I wish you could see me nodding my head in agreement with you.
Good. I think that's on this. Heather, I see your question. If you hang on, I think I need to get your... Heather's asking if the presentation is available for print. I can email it to everybody. If you want to chat in and send me your email addresses, I can send it to everyone after this is over. I don't have it currently ready to upload to the presentation as a handout, but I can send it to you after the fact. Thank you. Team choice elements. You want to talk about this one, Jennifer?
I sure could talk about these ones. Okay, so team choice elements are 2 creations that the team must present. Sorry, I'm looking in 2 different places on my thing. I'm like, where am I looking here? They can include props, music, technical gadgets, costumes, physical actions, perhaps like rhyming within their song, maybe a song that they write. The idea behind the team choice elements are that it's another area where the team is allowed to kind of shine and be unique. They must be integrated into the 8-minute presentation, and they need to have some sort of meaningful connection to the presentation. Um, an example that wouldn't be is perhaps something that is, a really nice costume of a character that has nothing to do with the story. Well, the costume is really nice, but if it has nothing to do with the story, then it's going to get fewer points. Um, the other things is that the team choice element must be able to be scored separate of other items, and it can't receive points twice. So if the team makes a really cool impact prop, and they're really proud of it, that's awesome, except they can't use that for their team choice element as well, because that's what we call double dipping, because it would then be scored twice. So they need to be thinking about something that that is different from any of the other scored items that they have done. Um, there's an explanation for this on page 10, I believe, in your PDF handout, if you've got that. And it gives it a little bit more detail, but it's just a matter of I feel like I'm all wishy-washy here, right? It's just another place really for the team to shine, and another way to kind of bring in extras to make their presentations unique and earn creativity points on that. And again, down in the corner there are these points guides. It is its own section within the score sheet, and so those are the things that the judges, the appraisers, will be looking for those team choice elements. And one thing that's really nice, actually, that I think it comes up here later, but I keep thinking about it as I've seen these little points things Dan has put on. That appraiser's score sheet is a really good document to use with the teams to make sure that they're getting everything that they need to have when they're preparing for tournament. It's one of those things they can, hang it on the wall, and they can just check off as they finish certain aspects of their project, to make sure that they're not forgetting things, and make sure that they're putting the information that they want on those tournament data forms so that they can be scored appropriately for that.
Yeah, some of the suggestions we've had for other teams, I'm not sure what kind of levels the managers are here on this webinar, but we've suggested maybe hanging some butcher paper on the wall and having the teams brainstorm onto those. And what are your goals? Put your goals on sheet 1. Put your goals, if we have time, ideas on sheet 2, and here's where the points are. If you can blow up this, or have them write out what the points go to on sheet 3, and then check off. We've achieved this, we've achieved that. These are the things that we know that we need to do for the tournament, and we've achieved them, and here's where we're going above and beyond. And as they write down the ideas and kind of flesh them out, the team choice elements kind of show up sometimes, and it's kind of it's good to see it in writing of, hey, we've got our character and we're going to do a second outfit, or we're going to do this other element over here that's not required. That's going to become our team choice element.
Mm-hmm.
So every year, the site is typically the same. You have an 8-minute time for your team. They'll come in and set up in the launch area. They'll be shown where there's a 3-prong plug if they need to plug something in. We only have to provide one, but typically we do a power strip just in case as a courtesy, but always prepare for the minimum. Some tournament sites might not have that strip, but it's guaranteed to have a 3-prong plug. So come prepared to utilize that. It's going to be a typical classroom floor, wood, linoleum, small pile carpet, and we'll mark off an 8x10 space to show that we're meeting the minimum, but the teams are always encouraged to go outside of that if the space is available. I don't think it said minimum presentation before, but this year it does say you can plan to go outside of it if it's available. It explicitly offers that in the guide this year. The team budget's $150. What that goes toward is what the team brings on the stage. If they buy a can of paint and it's $10 and they only use 1/4 of it, then they only have to claim $2.50 on the budget. If they go out and spend $10,000 because they got a really great community partner that donated a bunch of money and they utilized it all and came back with a $100,000 project, no pressure here. No projects are judged. But if they go out and spend a bunch of money, it doesn't matter. It's only what comes back to the presentation. So how much does the prop cost? How much does the costume cost? How much are the pieces and parts that built their stage and their story? What are they presenting? Has to be under $150. So go crazy on the project, but scale it down for the presentation. And then, of course, every year we have the team sign. We need to know the team's name, their ID number, and what school. And this carries no points itself. It is strictly so that we know who to give the points to. Don't let your team get carried away with making the sign and spending lots of time on it. It can be a simple piece of cardboard with all that information because, again, no points. We don't want to have you wasting time on it. I've had teams in the past that have fought over who gets to make the sign and spent far too much time there.
I'm sure that never happens to any of the rest of you. Never anything like that.
Yeah. There has been a general clarification. It was published September 12th. I didn't look today to see if there are more. Have you, Jennifer?
I have not. I'll hop on right now, actually, just in case,
Okay.
but I don't think that there are.
So in Challenge B, 2B should read, the team will identify on the tournament data form found at the end of the challenge the non-human character that changes in appearance. More than one non-human character can change in appearance, but only the one that is listed on the tournament data form can earn points. The appraisers must be able to clearly identify and score the non-human character's change in appearance and the impact prop separately. So if your character and impact prop are too closely integrated, that could be bad. We need to be able to tell them apart. And if the appraisers believe that the non-human character change in appearance and the impact prop are too similar, scores may be affected. The impact prop and character must be separate. Big purple letters, kind of the short and sweet of it. Be sure and go out to destinationimagination.org for others. Jennifer?
Mm-hmm.
Did
I
you find more?
tried to go out, but I don't have enough bandwidth right now, so
Okay.
it was
So you can always
interrupting, and I wasn't able to actually log into the site. So
okay.
Yeah.
So you guys can always go out and check more. I believe the last date is just before tournaments start, like 1 or 2 weeks out.
Mm-hmm.
You can always get clarifications for your team. The last one is a general one, which means enough people were asking that it affected everyone, so they're just saying, okay, here's an answer for everyone, but your team might have a very specific question. A couple years ago, a team did a very interesting spin interpreting the challenge, and so they got from the International Challenge Masters the approval that the way they were approaching the project was within the realm of DI's definition of what they were looking for. And if you do one of those, be sure to bring that clarification to the tournament with you, with your tournament data forms. That way there's no question on our part whether or not you did get it approved. You have it in writing, and all the appraisers are then able to read it as well. Bring as many copies of that clarification as requested for the tournament data forms. I believe it's 5 copies of pages 1 and 2, plus any clarifications need to be 5 copies as well. Jennifer, you want to go on this?
Sure, I'll talk.
All right.
So, so now, kind of to, we're getting closer to being done, sort of here. Maybe, I don't know, just kidding, maybe not.
Close.
So some tools to help kind of with the project management aspect of this. What you're looking at here is this is actually the score sheet that students would be using. It's going to be scored. It's in page 11 of the challenge. I got sidetracked. And basically, this just is everything that we would be needing as far as the tournament performance goes. And like we said, use it as a checklist, and then create a to-do list for this. And be asked, ask the students, the teams, do you have all your requirements? And where can you up your game? Where can you improve? And have the kids score this. So, for example, if your kids, when they've decided on their challenge, or excuse me, their character, their non-human character, have them rate themselves. How is that character changing, and what's creative about this? And so, rather than just saying, well, he's changing, so it's neat, they have a chance to really to look at that and examine what makes it creative, and maybe be able to improve that, or realize, wow, this is really good. We really have to bring this out. But how can we improve other things? And so this kind of, it really helps the teams to, take ownership of their kind of what their result of their project is and their presentation, and they can kind of prioritize what they need to accomplish based on what they've already done so far, to kind of keep them moving along in the process there. And then Dan mentioned, actually, in the last slide, talking about the tournament data forms. Those are kind of the information at the end of the challenge that teams need to be bringing in. And actually, I have moved on to the next slide here, Dan, sorry. I
No
was
worries.
like, wait a minute, it didn't change. So these are just the sheets that we have to have to allow the teams to communicate the details. Our appraisers can assess the progress from them, or excuse me, the appraisers use them to identify the team choice elements. They use them to identify what's the character that we're looking for, what's the impact rock that we're looking for. So those are, super integral when it comes to the tournament, but they're also really good to be used as project planning as well. Students can use them to assess their progress. Are we able to answer all of our questions on the tournament data form at this point? If we're not, what is it that we need to do differently? They can keep going back to those to know what still needs to be accomplished, and help keep them focused on the requirements of the challenge and as far as their presentation goes.
Oh, come on. There we go.
There you go.
I think I went 2 slides, didn't I?
I think you did, yeah.
There. All right.
And then kind of the last little thing here, and then I'll let Dan take over again. As far as, being your team manager, if you haven't gone to the roadmap, I definitely suggest it. I wish I had known it existed when I was a team manager. But it not only does it help out with project planning for the team members, it helps for the team manager as well. There's a breakdown of the meetings to kind of help you gauge where you should be spending your time to best help the team members, to help them with their project management. And it also has a lot of these instant challenges and team building exercises that are really great to have. But if you don't have access to them or you can't find them, it's really frustrating when you're trying to build, help your team members work on their instant challenges, and if you can't find them. So the roadmap is definitely one of those things that is, I think, is probably underutilized. So I would say definitely, use it because it's there for you. All right, Dan.
And then kind of continuing on with some more tips, teach the kids skills, but you can't do it on the core challenge. They have to come up with a Fable. They have to come up with all the pieces and parts that go into that. But you can use those instant challenges or other projects to teach them skills. So if they need to learn how to sew to make a costume, take a day, take a meeting, and sew some blankets. Maybe you can't do the whole team a sewing lesson, but you can take 1 or 2 students and say, here, let's go sew this together. Let me show you how the machine works. And again, it's a safety issue. You want to be sure that they understand how to use any tools or items that they're going to use in building their project safely. Give feedback during the instant challenge. Sometimes we'd have team managers giving lots of feedback. I know with our teams, we would say, okay, today you're going to be the appraiser, and we're going to pretend that we're at tournament, and you're going to watch the rest of the team do this instant challenge, and you can give feedback on how they're doing with their doing with the challenge, and how would you like to see it change when you're back part of the group. But for now, you just sit here and watch and provide that feedback to them. Learn to be okay with failures. Sometimes you learn more when you fail than if you're successful all the time. Those failures can provide good feedback. Learning how to make a light bulb. I think this one's used a billion times. Thomas Edison said that he learned how to not make a light bulb 10,000 times before he learned how to make one. And so use those failures as teaching points. And I guess the question is, did you see our transformation? It was pretty subtle. Our integration was there, but it was not real creative. But we did have our frog change to the presentation. So, and there's our contact information. Feel free to chat in, send me your email if you have any other questions or you want me to send you the presentation. I do have 2 email addresses so far. And I think that's it. Jennifer, anything else?
I don't think so. Yeah, I think you covered all of that. And I can't think of anything that we've missed, although those of you out there might have some. So please write in some questions for us. Oh, what's that?
Nothing's coming up. I guess we did a good job tonight.
Either we did a good job, or it's like time for people to just decompress for the night.
Yes, it's been a long week. Can we email questions as we progress through the weeks? Absolutely. That's what the information's here for. Feel free to email one or all of us, and we'll end up talking it over and get back to you as soon as we can. You bet. All right. I'll give it one more second here, but I think we might be done.
And also, as far as emailing questions, on the regional challenge masters list, those people are in the same places we are. They're there to help you as well. I mean, 2 of those people are Dan and myself, so you're going to get assigned anyway. But if you have maybe even region-specific challenges or questions about your challenge, or even if it's not region-specific, those people are also really ready and willing to help as well when you do have questions. Yeah, so just keep them in mind as well.
Okay. How do we get credit for attending this webinar? We have your name, and it's in the registration list, and so it's noted. I'll pass all that information on to Kate, and I think that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for attending. Have a good night.
Thanks a lot, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Oh.
Sorry, we got a hand raised.
Hey, no problem.
Did you find the chat box? I'm waiting. Oh, gotcha. Just wanted to say thank you. You're welcome.
Oh.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.